Welcome to Doc's Daily Dose, prescribed by Dr. Harrison. Alright, yeah, I'm still figuring out, which room and lighting is going to give me what I was having before, but we'll get there. This is going to be my last video about this fire. I could have probably made 2 more out of this, but I don't want to do that. I want to get past it and move past it. But there's 2 things that came about from it recently, as in today, that I think is interesting to bring up just for people to know and have some thought about. One, a little more negative. Second one, a lot more positive. So the first thing is, if you've never had any kind of sympathy or thought or empathy or thought about people who live in, war-torn countries or anything like that. Now, I'm not saying my garage is indicative of someone's situation who lives in a war-torn country. What I'm saying is, there were things that I didn't even imagine or think of. For example, because that thing is burnt to a crisp and it hasn't been removed yet because the landlords haven't figured out, and it's super hot out here, there's a smell. There's a smell of, like, when you put out a campfire or the day after a barbecue. There's a smell of ash and burnt, kind of rotted wood that just, that smell just covers the entire backyard. The moment you open the patio door, you just smell it. When you pull into the driveway, 200 feet away, whatever it is, you can just smell it. There's also these, I've never seen them before, but they're these little, like, white gnats. They're about the size of gnats, but they're white. And they fly around in little groups and little buzz, and, like, they're just, I don't know if they're eating up the wood, they're eating up the ash, I don't know what it is, right? So you got the smell, you got the bugs, and then it's a constant reminder of what happened and what you've lost. And I thought to myself, every time I would think, I was going to go outside and put something in the garage, or, I need to grab this, and realizing it's gone. Or when I would pull up and have that smell, or when I would, walk from the dining room to the kitchen and I would see out back and being like, holy shit. It made me really think about people who have to deal with stuff like this on a daily basis. That smell, the new bugs or whatever comes along with it, the constant reminder of what you've lost, of what happened, right? Because every time I see that, not only do I think about what I lost, but I replay the images of the smoke and well, not the smoke, but the orange flames, just almost like a rolling thunder out of the top of the garage door. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to live like that all the time in places that are war-torn countries. It makes you really thankful and grateful for all the things we have here in the neighborhood that you live in. Now, I know there's parts of America that are dilapidated, that are torn apart, that look like war-torn countries. I don't live in one of those areas, right? I've done well enough to put my family in a situation where we're not in a big mansion, we're not doing anything like that, but we've got nicer amenities, and there's neighborhood around us, and there's the city, the old town type stuff around us, a little ways down the way. And sometimes we take that stuff for granted. Sometimes we don't realize how much those little things really mean, not just to us, but our family, and how much other people don't have that stuff. So, think about that. Think about the fact that even though something may be trash to you, or it may not be up to the standards that you want because you have a certain vision for yourself that you want to go, just like me, and the type of things that might come along with it. And when I say things, I do mean material things that might come with a higher income or a more luxurious lifestyle. That's great. But the stuff you have now, some people would fight to the death for it. Some people would do anything and everything to be able to provide their children, their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, what you currently have. And I couldn't imagine, this is just a garage. I couldn't imagine walking around my town or my village or my city and seeing all of it like that and still having to live there. So whether that inspires you to go do something to help people or inspires you to take better care of your stuff and be more grateful for your current situation, either or somewhere in between, I hope it has an effect. Because until you have to have your actual senses hit along with your sensibility of the things that have happened, it's hard to really understand what all that means. But I see it every day now. I smell it. The bugs are there. I see them. I can visualize what had happened every time I pass by and see that garage. So be grateful for what you got. Don't shit on it. A lot of people would want what you have. So, second thing. This one is about the boys. Now, before all this happened, I was making videos about how my boys really wanted to get a gaming console. And I wasn't going to just fork out $500 for them to have a gaming console. I told them they had to earn it. And I wasn't just, they don't get an allowance. Chores are chores. They got to help out around the house. We're a team here, a family. So they had to come up with projects or wash people's cars. But the activity that they found that they felt was worth their, worthwhile, worth their time was collections of cans and bottles. And quite frankly, as I was mentioning multiple times, they've done really well. We just came back from the recycling center today, and they made another $18. So they're sitting at around $170, $175 right now. For only 4.5, 5 weeks of work of collecting cans and bottles, that's pretty damn good for a 9, 5, and 4-year-old, right? So here's the thing, though. I mention that because it's relevant to the story. So as everything was burnt in the garage, remember this is my last episode about the fire, there are a few things that you could still see in there that didn't get burnt up all the way. One of them was a trophy I got from high school. When I was a senior in high school, I was voted Male Athlete of the Year and then Overall Athlete of the Year. Funny story, my girlfriend in high school was the Female Athlete of the Year, and we both thought at graduation we'd be, gifted with this award and this trophy for the ceremony. We were both unaware that at school they give the male and female, but at graduation they give an Overall Athlete of the Year, and I won the Overall Athlete of the Year, and it made graduation night and grad night horrible because she was all pissed off. It's like, don't be mad at me because I'm balling more than you. Nah, I was, but because they, that vote came for me. But anyways, what it was like a typical trophy where it has a square base that comes up into like a metal bowl, right, with an inscription: Antonio Harrison, athlete, Plymouth Prep Athlete of the Year. So as the kids were kind of standing on the edge by the garage, kind of looking after everything that happened, they saw that trophy was still there. Now the bowl was charred, but it was steel, so like it didn't anything. But the bottom, the base, was just burnt up. It was burnt to a crisp. And they're like, "Dad, get your trophy," and it was something I just had in the garage that was in like one of my wooden cubby holes that I kept there. And I know the boys really like any memorabilia stuff that I have. And they're like, "Dad, get your trophy." And I was like, "It's burned." They're like, "But the bowl part is still good." And I'm like, "No, I don't need that, son. It's cool." He's like, "Nah, but can I have it then? I just want it for memories." And I was like, "Well, those are my memories. I don't know what memories you have of those." He's like, "Well, for the memories of you and you playing football." And I was like, "Nah, it's burnt up. You don't need that in your room. It'll just be junk in your room, right?" And he bugged me about it for 3 days. And I want to say, what was it? Yesterday, maybe? Yesterday afternoon, and this is where the money of the cans parts come back in. Don't worry, I'm bringing everything full circle here. He goes, "Hey, Dad." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's my oldest." He's like, "I want you to have this." And he pulls out the entire wad of cash that he's earned, and he gives it to me. I go, "Well, what's this for?" He's like, "Because I know how much stuff you lost in the garage, and I want you to be able to buy your stuff back." Thank you, son. You're doing well when your kids know how to treat people in a kind and heartfelt, warm manner. Even if it's family or a stranger, doesn't matter. When they have the foresight to stop thinking about themselves and think about others, you know you're doing a good job. Now, obviously, I didn't take the money. I was like, no, son, you've earned this. This is for you and your video game console. But what that did was earlier today, this morning, when I was kind of outside and he was looking and he was like, Dad, can I have that trophy, please? Because he had offered his money earlier, and I was like, you know what, son, if you want it, you can have it. So I grabbed it, I unscrewed the top part and took off the charred, burnt base of it and just tossed it back in the garage. And I gave him this tarnished, charred up steel bowl. I was like, I don't know what he's gonna do. It's gonna go into the room, and who knows what's gonna happen to it. It's gonna be another piece of junk laying around, right? And I heard him rifling through Legos, and I was like, oh, I guess he's gonna put his Legos in there. I'm like, whatever, 9-year-old thought pattern. I'm not worried about it. I go off to football practice. I have another thing that I had to do for training wise for something, and I come home and I start working on my computer, and then I'm gonna take him to go do recycling. And he's like, Dad, I made something for you. He took the Legos, recreated the base, put tape on here to hold it to it, and then wrote in Antonio Harrison MVP. Out of this world awesome. This means more to me than the actual Athlete of the Year award from high school. This I will hold on to absolutely forever. My kids, I have a lot of love for them, and things like this and offering up their money shows how much love they have back for me. And when you have moments where your kids show you that type of love and stop thinking about themselves and think about you, understand the gravity of that situation. It also comes back full circle to the first thing I was talking about how one man's trash is another man's treasure. I kept being like, you don't want this junk, you don't want this, but he wanted it. Because to him, my junk at that time was a treasure that he could restore. See how it all comes full circle? So, that's my last anything to say about this flyer. I won't speak about it anymore. At least make a whole video about it. It might be coming as reference, but that's it. So think about the things I shared with you. Think about others. Think about how others think about you. Think about how your kids return the love that you are giving them on a constant basis, whether they know it or not. It's something that'll make you feel larger than life. And also get you to understand how you are larger than life to those kids. That's Doc's Daily Dose. Don't forget to hashtag Doc's Daily Dose, hashtag 3D, all social media at RebirthBX, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Play Music for the audio format. Hit Doc's Daily Dose for dads. Still haven't taken off the for dads part. Still wrapping up some stuff. But on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Check out the website, rebirthbx.com. You can hit me up on email, aharrison@rebirthbx.com. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I'm off to go watch 2 football games to scout because we got our first game in 7 days.